Hey Finxters, what's up? It's Chris, founder of Finxter.com, and in today's video you're going to learn about Python's built-in hash function. So the built-in hash function takes one argument as an input and returns its hash value. Okay, so it's very simple function, and it is calculated based on the object's data and nothing else. So two equal objects basically will have the same hash value. So maybe this is kind of abstract to you, so let's dive right into an example to learn about Python's hash functions. Okay, so you can just use it without importing any library, without external dependencies. You can just type in hash and open the parentheses and then pass any object into it. For example, you can pass an integer object into it, like an integer number 42, and I mean, like per accident, the hash value of the integer object 42 of any integer object will be just the same integer number. Okay, so because the hash value is always an integer number, so of course it's obvious to use the integer itself as the hash value of an integer. But the hash value of, say, a float, say we have 42.1, will be like any random integer number. You cannot basically infer it without knowing the algorithm from the number itself. So for example, if you have two numbers that are very close to each other, say 42.1 and 42.11, so they are only, like, the difference is only 0.01, we still have a vastly different hash value. Okay, so the hash value is very different. It could be very arbitrary. Okay, so basically what it does, the hash function, is to take any object and map it to any of the integer numbers. So maybe let's have an example with a drawing board. So you have basically some inputs and some outputs. Yeah, and as input you can pass any object into it. So you can pass numbers, strings, even tuples. So you can have any input, and the output will always be an integer number. Okay, so we have a number from like minus, say, 9999. So it's just the maximum integer number. Basically, it won't be 999,000 something, but it would be like the maximum possible negative integer number, to 0 to all the way to the maximum positive integer number. Okay, so something like this. So we have like this even space. This is basically this is a domain. So these are all the possible output values, and then we basically have a mapping from all values here on the left, all objects that could go into the function to all these numbers. Okay, so and what we can have is that two objects, like, and say we have an object X and object Y, that both of them map to the same number here, to the same hash value. Okay, so this is possible. So if you have a given hash value, you cannot for two objects, you cannot infer that those two objects are the same. But if you have two same objects, so like you have for example one string 42 and then you have another string 42, so this is different object but the same value. In this case, both will refer to the same hash value. Okay, so if you have like the same, if basically the equality operator is equal, like this one, 42 equals 42, then basically the hash value of 42 should be the same as hash value of 42. I mean, this is kind of trivial here in this example, but it's not so trivial as if you use, for example, the string 42, because now we have basically two strings. Yeah, so we could have S1 42 and S2 42. So now they look the same, but if you basically check the ID, so the location of S1 and the ID of S2, you see these are different numbers. Okay, so these are basically, okay, now in this case, okay, bad example because strings are immutable, strings cannot change, but it would be for other mutable objects and so on. Okay, so basically you could check. Okay, so this is the better example. So let's print S1 is S2. Okay, so in this case, also bad example. So should be, so what would be a better one? Maybe a tuple. but I'm not sure how this will work out. So let's check tuple 1, 2. So I make these examples up on the fly, so therefore it can happen sometimes that they don't work. Okay, but okay, so this is a good example. So here we have two tuples, T1 and T2, and they look the same. They also have the same elements, but they are not the same. Yeah, if you call T1 is T2, which basically checks whether they refer to the same object in memory, the result is false. Okay, so those are really different objects in memory. But the hash value of T1 will be the same as the hash value of T2. Okay, so even if they are different objects in memory and T1 is T2 results in false, T1 equals T2 would result in true. Okay, because they have the same tuple elements, and as they have the same tuple elements, their hash values will also be the same. Okay, so what else? I think then one important point to make is how to create your own custom object. So say you have a custom class customer and the class has a constructor taking one argument, and we set self.value equals value. Okay, so in this case we can create different customers that have one attribute, and this is the value attribute. Okay, so now say we create Alice is a customer with value 1000, and then we also have Bob is a customer value 1000. Okay, now if we print Alice equals Bob, we basically, like, let's do this, we get the result false. Okay, so because they are really different objects. Of course then also Alice is Bob would be false as well. Yeah, and also the hash value, print hash Alice is hash Bob, would be false as well. Okay, so all of those three statements would be false. So but this may not make sense to you, because you may think, okay, they could be different objects, of course, because you create those objects differently, but basically you want the hash values to be the same because they have the same data, right? Both have the value 1000 associated to it. So they basically should, so like the integer examples, they should like create the same hash value. So you can create your own hash function by overwriting this dunder hash method. Dunder, so these double underscore methods, they are called dunder methods, and you can override the default hash method and create your own. And we can create, for example, we can return the hash value of self.value. So now the integer value associated to each customer will be determining the hash value. And so, for example, we can, if we now print the hash value of Alice and the hash value of Bob, basically as they are initialized with the same value, the result should be the same. Yeah, because if you have two same integer values here, then they also have the same hash value. So therefore now the result should be different as before, because now you can see the hash function returns true now, because so the hash function returns the same integer value. So therefore if you compare those two integer values, the result is true in this case. Okay, so in this case the third value will be true. But now this would be like an inconsistent case. As I said, if two elements have the same, if basically two elements have the same, so you should always also implement the equal method. Okay, because like def equal method self, the equal method basically determines this equality between two objects. Okay, and you can also override this equal method taking two arguments, a reference to itself as any method in the class customer, and also a reference to the other method which you want to compare it against. And now we return, because now like there would be two ways. Now, for example, we could say Alice and Bob are still different customers because they are different objects. So in this case we would return like return self is other, something like this. Yeah, so we check whether the reference is the same, refers to the same element, whether both variables refer to the same object in memory. This would make sense in a way because they are different customers, but you can also have, like, semantically, you can also justify that they are now different because they are now the same. So if you compare them, it should return the same value. It should return true because they have the same value, because the comparison, they are both associated the same value 1000. And this could be also, like, this value could be like a monetary value, in which case it would be justifiable to return false in this case, but it could also be the identity of the customer, and if they have the same identity value, then of course the comparison should return true. Okay, and what would you do if the comparison would return true? So how could you implement this? Basically, you could use the hash value again. So we could just make it explicit self.value is other.value. So now basically here we rely on the equality comparison of the integer numbers, which is already implemented nicely. Okay, so if they have the same value, they are also considered equal. And now in this case, this first function call, this first comparison between the two instances should also return true, as the hash values that basically refer to the same object, because the hash values is now based on the integer number as well. So therefore the first and the third function calls should be true now, and in this case the second one is still false because they refer to different objects in the memory. Okay, so you see true, false, true. And now either way, whether you want to implement it this way or self is other this way, in which case you have false, false. So we have these two possibilities. Yeah, for the first comparison, this could either be true or false, and both would make sense in some instances. But I mean, either way would be correct. But you should explicitly define the dunder equal method, because otherwise it is left to Python to decide this, and for the reader of your code it can be very confusing if they don't know what equality means for your objects, given that two objects can have the same hash value. Okay, so it's good practice to basically implement this equality method as well if you override the hash method. Okay, so I think it's enough for today. I think you have learned something about the hash value and how to use it in Python. Thanks for listening to this video, and see you in the next video. Bye.